So I've just jumped into the DOP network here. Most of this, it's all set up correctly. The buildings, the avoidance on the buildings and everything should be fine. So things we need to, so we can just get rid of all these forces. The run to ragdoll will leave, but the trigger will change. So I'll just turn that off for the moment. Turn them both off for the moment. The one thing we do need to change is the terrain, because if you remember, we set that up at a different location. So let's jump back out and into the city and just find, let me turn off these normals, find that height field. Okay, and you can see that's kind of in the wrong place. So let's just bring it over to here and maybe just stretch it out a bit that way so it covers our screen. And then just make sure that's projecting correctly, so that's perfect. So we can bring that into in the crowd sim, of course, in here, and well, that should be all connected up fine. We also, obviously, we don't want the ground plane because the agents are going to be falling into the ground. So let me just double check this terrain is working now. Yeah, you can see that they're stepped up onto the curb. If I turn that off, they should pop down. Yeah, great. Yeah, so as I said, yeah, we don't want the ground because the agents are going to fall into the ground. And also, if they kind of fall outside of the space of the RED collision that we've got, then they'll fall into a ground. So we need to generate a collider for outside of that as well. But we'll do that a bit, not right now. Let's bring in the, well, actually we can, no, that's the static collider for the buildings. Let's bring in, yeah, the actual fracture. ABD packed object. So let's find it. In fracture, out call, connect that up there. There we go. This will not be active. This will be deforming static objects, I believe, or animated static objects. Let's just play a few frames and see if that actually moves. Take a look. If I go down here, yeah, we can see that excuse me, actually animated, is moving. It's working. Great. So let's set up the trigger for that. So, as these agents are all in the parts of the crowd simulation now, but as long as you've got this set to animated static, they are in a sense parts of the bullet simulation at the same time. They're recording impacts, right? So we can use that to trigger the ragdoll state. So if we go to ABD impact data, okay, and then we should name these. So this is the city, and this is the road. Okay, so then we grab the road, and then whenever the road hits these agents, they will turn into ragdolls. Okay, and the sensitivity, so if we have it quite low, they probably all just fall over. Let's just watch a few frames. So we obviously, you just want the agents which are getting hit by the blocks over here to fall. But I found that at lower sensitivities, even agents, which are nowhere near this part, were triggering into ragdoll. Let's see. So we've got these triggered. See, like this guy over here, another over here. They're being triggered even though they're not near the fracture, right? So I'm just going to push this up to 30. Let's go back. And then maybe let me give these a color. It's a bit hard to see against the... Yeah, that's fine. And then maybe we can run a flipbook with that and see how that looks. Let's do, so I've got 100 frames of the cache, right? So let's try that. Oh no, sorry. Got 100 frames of cache points, but then I stretched them out, right? I slowed them down. So we'll do 200 frames, yeah. Right, so let's take a look at a flipbook here and see what we got. So yeah, we can obviously see some things which need to be fixed, but you know, generally it's working. The RBD blocks are hitting the agents and converting them to ragdolls, getting some cool kind of some of them flying across. There you can see the he's impacting the curve there, which is working fine. So problems, obviously, some of the agents are walking over the hole which is left. So like these guys here, right? So they're not being triggered. So they need to be triggered into ragdoll when there's nothing beneath them around here. Okay, which we can do. And that's pretty much it. Also, I don't see any right now, but if this guy was to have fallen here, he would have fallen through the floor. So we need to address that as well, okay? Other than that's okay. We might need to delete some agents, you know, if they get kind of like here, maybe these guys, they get pinned underneath these rocks. You know, these are they're animated pieces which they're not active, they're not going to react to the agents underneath, so they're kind of being pressed into an infinitely small space. There's nothing much we can do about that. So you know, we just have to identify them and just delete them after there's only a couple appear maybe. Ideal circumstances would be simulating this RBD at the same time as the ragdoll simulation, but you know, we get good results this way, and it's quicker as well, much quicker.